Hey everyone, we are going to be taking a ride today to work. It is Monday morning. I actually haven't done FSD without touching it from my garage all the way to work. So we're gonna give it a shot, see how it goes, see how it takes us all the way to work without intervening. Let's do it. So far, the car has done absolutely great. Getting out of my garage, this is actually one of the coolest things with this update, was just being able to just go from garage all the way out. That is something that I always wanted to do. Now it does have problem getting back into my garage because there's like a little bump on the bottom of the garage that just doesn't like to go through for some reason, because my garage is not smooth all the way in. But other than that, I mean, it's done a great job at getting me where I need to go pretty much without interventions. I'm actually looking forward to having the ability to know how many miles I do purely with FSD versus how many I do with, you know, just me driving. At this point, I'm pretty confident that 95% of my driving is usually done in FSD. And especially like today, you know, going to work, my work is about, I want to say about 40 to 45 minutes depending on traffic, and usually traffic is pretty bad, and Mondays is not good at all. It gets pretty crazy out there, but I think it's gonna be able to pull it off. So far it's doing good. I know that there has been a issue with you know, stuttering of FSD every now and then, and I seen that. Not as bad as some other videos I've seen online, but it has done it. It has done it for me a few times, but nothing that I will say that is too concerning. However, and this is just me talking, I really do enjoy the fact that I can kind of tell how the car thinks. That's kind of cool to see, honestly. Ever since, I remember when I first got my first Tesla. This is my second Tesla. That's a whole other story that we can talk about later. But ever since I got my first Tesla, I got it when it was version 12, and it was a hardware 4 before 13 came out, and it had that hesitation too. And I feel like this new version. All right, let's see what it's gonna do here. I feel like this new version is actually kind of like that. I almost feel like it's just an early version. There's a lot of things that gotta get worked out, but it is really cool to see it think, you know, and make decisions, and how quickly it does this time. Love the confidence of changing lanes. That's actually one of my favorite things about this new version. I know I've seen the 14.2 is out already for some cars, and it seems like they worked out a lot of the kinks when it comes to, you know, the indecisiveness of the car. And like I say, I haven't had any like big problems with that. It has been really rare, but I do love the confidence on the car. And in fact, I'm in sloth right now. Let me we're gonna do Mad Max for this one. Yeah, there we go. Mad Max, at first I was kind of worried the Mad Max was going to be just this outrageous, just I'm about to be just, you know, people's worst nightmare on the road, but it's actually just so confident. And I really like that, especially when you are around a lot of aggressive drivers. It does help out. Make sure that you're moving forward, and, you know, get through those lane changes when needed. Okay, so as you can see, traffic is already rolling in my area. It's getting pretty busy, but FSD is doing a pretty good job, you know, keeping me safe here and not going crazy. Oh, there's that indecision right there. And there you go, but it waited. That's fine. I mean, I'm okay with when he does something like that, because I'd rather it wait than just go for something, you know, that is not sure about. But it does feel like that sturdiness, you know, that stutter that he does right there. It does concern a lot of people. It doesn't really concern me too much because so far, every time it's done it with prioritizing my safety in mind, you know, when they're driving the car. And I think that's good. Can it be smoother? Yes. And I think 14.2 is going to be a lot smoother. So far, what videos I have seen, that's what it's done. And I'll make a video when 14.2 comes out and show you. But yeah, there's that stutter, because as you can see, so what was happening on that lane there was one truck making a right into my road, and when it was making that, it didn't see the other truck behind it. So it was very careful pulling up to see whether you can see if there was another car, and then it saw the truck, and that's when they hesitated. Do I have enough time, or do I not have enough time? And it almost, the crazy thing about it is that I feel like it almost feel like there is actually a driver on the car now. I know that's gonna sound strange, but ever since this update, it just feels like there's more than one brain thinking, kind of like that. Like there was the car, autonomous, you know, mechanical, okay, we're making decisions based on what we see, what is in the near proximity of the road. And then there's something else. I'm not sure. I did read, you know, on the patch notes that, you know, on the release notes that they had a, look how just one line that says sentient, you know. But the other one, there's a reasoning model in here. And I don't know if this has always been the one, or if they added an LLM in here for it now that, you know, that works with the car. But it just almost feels like there's a lot more prediction, like farther away predictions. Like, for example, there was a few times where the car will see a light go yellow really far, and it'll immediately start slowing down. Things like that. Or, you know, one of the things that happened in the past is that when you were gonna make a pass to the right, to, you know, a truck or something on the highway, and then that truck will decide to make the same pass. Well, before, you ended up behind the truck anyways, because it will still make the pass. It'll still go to the right. But this time, it does a much better job at just changing his mind. You know. So when, you know, when you're driving and that truck makes the right turn, go to the right lane, the car decides, well, I guess I'm not going to the right lane, because the point was that I wanted to pass this truck. And he does a pretty good job of changing his mind to make proper decisions on that one. So far, we had a little bit of a stutter, but no, I didn't have to change. I didn't have to touch it, you know. It's doing good on its own so far. This right here are things that are really interesting. I don't know how it's going to handle this, but I don't know if any of you guys out there who have FSD have gotten into the situation where that's not the turning lane. But because the turning lane is so far down, you know, it tends to like follow the cars right here, but sometimes that gets, see, there we go. See, I knew it started figuring out I'm not in the right lane. But these are the stuff that I think definitely we still have to work out, because as humans, we will just follow along the same path, you know, because I don't know why we do that, but that's what we do. Is doing the right thing. And I think that's the problem. Not a problem, but I think that's one of the biggest difference in FSD is that it is not okay with breaking the rules, quote unquote. Even though we shouldn't do that, but sometimes you don't have a choice because the rest of the traffic is already on this left lane way far back. And even though that's not what the turn lane starts, but we can't really pull up too far down because then we won't be able to get in. We have to get on the back of the line all the way back there. And those are the decisions that it kind of gets a little bit like confused, like, okay, how am I supposed to handle this? Now, 13 managed to handle it really well. The last one, it was still not happy with it, but it handled it. This version, it seems like it's got to think about it a lot. So I'm hoping that, you know, I think the next versions it's just gonna become so much better. I do like how much more decisive it is though. It's doing really, really well on making decisions on its own and doing them quickly. Not like before. I was a friend of mine who bought a Model Y too. He was telling me how he went to a parking lot, and when he was parking, he got in front of a pole. There was a pole right there on the parking lot, and he just couldn't decide whether he needed to go left or right around the pole. So it's freaking funny to see that. But I mean, so far we're doing all right. So I think right now we're just gonna encounter a lot of stop and go traffic, and this is the beautiful thing about having FSD is that I don't have to worry about it. I just let the car do its thing, and that to me is just fantastic, that I don't have to deal with that at all. And I don't know why I am doing this, because it is not warm at all. It is cold right now in Florida. 56. What's wrong with Florida? So yeah, so let us stop and go traffic, and you'll see how it's so comfortable to just let the car deal with all this. I don't have to deal with it at all. See, there's that confident lane changing. I love it. Mad Max is doing really well. Like I said, I thought Mad Max was gonna be some crazy, just I'm about to just make mayhem on the road, but no, it's still pretty safe. It's just super confident in making these lane changes to try to get itself ahead. Sometimes a little bit too confident. It's crazy. One of the things that you will find out when it comes to using FSD is that it does sometimes do things that we naturally do subconsciously. We don't think about it, we just do. But watching the car do it itself, it makes you feel so eerie. Because you think, whoa, why did it do that? That was so risky. And then I realized, I catch myself driving on my own and realizing, huh, that's exactly how I drive. That's weird. Now I'm worried. But it does do that. It does. It becomes really confident and it does things that you will normally do, but it gets you a little bit worried. But it's fine. Now we're entering the part where things speed up here on this highway, and I want to talk about something here. Okay, Mad Max, like I said, I absolutely love it, and all the speed profiles are absolutely great, but they work super great in, like, when I'm in the city and I'm driving around a lot of cars. However, here though, it does tend to become a problem, because in the past I will be able to set it, set a max speed that we're going to be running around in this area. And the car, obviously here we can't go, we have a high speed that we can go here, but sometimes it goes absolutely crazy on the speed, and that gets me worried, and that's when I have to actually change it down the profiles. But it was nice to keep the profile setup and tell it, hey, this is the max speed you can go here, And I understand that it's using, whatever's going on with the traffic in order to make the decisions of the speed. But when it's on its own, sometimes it can get a little crazy. Like I don't really feel like going 85 on a 65. That's just kind of crazy to me. But those are the type of decisions that I don't know how I feel about it yet. Like right here, right now. Okay, so it's trying to get ahead of this car. I really hope now, because that's not good. So anyways, that's really one of the things that I do miss. What is the ability to put, oh man, sun is a little blinding over here. The ability to actually set a max speed for the car. That's something that I wish I could do in this scenario right here. But other than that, on the city and things like that, that's not a problem, because nobody's going crazy fast anyway. So you always have that speed that the car can attach to from relative to the rest of the cars. But here it can get a little crazy, so I'm hoping I won't have to, but I might have to take it off Mad Max here, because I do not want to get in trouble here. So see, like right now it's picking up way too much speed in my opinion, and that can be a problem. So I'm going to actually lower this down to hurry. I want to stay on Mad Max, but we gotta be I don't need a ticket either, so. Whoa. See, that's another thing that it has done before. So it saw that the car, this is not the first time that it does that. And I know that it's a preventative thing because the truck was going fast to get across. And I think it's the speed with the truck cross that it thinks that, it's just trying to bolt across the whole road. So it moves itself to the right away to sort of try to, prepare, evade it or whatever it needs to do and everything. But it does become a little bit, if you're not paying attention, it does become disconcerting when all of a sudden the car just goes bam to the right, it does it right. It's not doing anything wrong really, but it's not one of those things that you doing it with the wheel, holding the wheel is one thing. The car doing it when you're just chilling over here, it can be a little bit worrisome. But it's not the first time that it does that. Actually, the same intersection too. It always does it right there. But it's just one of those things that 14.1.7 has a little bit of that, That's just okay. Trying to think too hard. Sometimes a little bit too cautious on this stuff. Can't complain about being cautious though. I'm glad that it is. But yeah, there's something to watch out with it. And that's why I wanted to do this. It should give you my ride to work and also point out some of the things that that happen. By no means FSD is 100% perfect. Is it safe? I think so. So far I have not I've seen FSD do anything absolutely chaotic that will put my life in danger. But that's why you always supervise, right? So I'm always making sure that I'm paying attention and get ready to take over the wheel at any point. But this is the first time that I run it full in this new car in the Model Y 2026 without intervening myself in any way somewhere, because I'm usually doing that because I'm kind of have a hard time to just fully FSD the whole time because I like to drive the car too. The car feels cool, but this time I want to take in this ride and see how we do all the way to work, which is pretty far. And yes, and this is one of the great things about having the Tesla. I do this almost every day. If it wasn't for the Tesla, God, this would be miserable to do this every single day. But I do think, and usually on the rides, my wife is with me. So what we do is that we just pack a little breakfast and everything, get on the car, and just have some breakfast on the way to work. Chill, listen to some music, have some nice conversation, and everything. It's such a pleasant way to actually take this ride all the way to work every day. Alright, we're coming up now to my work. And so far, no interventions. Camera has gone off. I turned it back on, but other than that, we made it all the way here. All right, let's see where it chooses to park. This is what I'm saying. When it comes to parking here, it tends to just, I don't know why it goes for the handicap spot every time. We'll see how it does right now. Where are we gonna park today, Tesla? Oh, for some reason this thing is set to a charger? What? No, it's supposed to be a parking lot. Oh, it shows correctly. Is it gonna make it though? Oh, it's backing up. Wait, where are you backing up to? You're backing up to the handicap spot. Oh my God. Well, We made it with no interventions, but parked on the wrong spot. Anyways, everybody, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on the next one.